As we earlier reported, the presence of Korean content drew a lot of attention at this year's Academy Awards, with K-pop Demon Hunters winning big, receiving Oscars for both Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song. Meanwhile, BTS are set to make their return to the K-pop scene this week with their fifth full-length album, along with a large-scale comeback performance. Do we see another possible turning point in K-pop? Let's talk about these major stories with Claire Marie Lim, music technologist, artist, and faculty member at Berklee College of Music. Hello, Claire.
Hello, Claire.
Hi, Soa. Hi, Walter. It's great to be here again.
Great to have you back. So, Claire, we've been following the Academy Awards with big anticipation, and wow, K-pop Demon Hunters is now a two-time Oscar winner. Yay! So, what did you think of the results?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that I'm in a fantastic mood right now, Soa, to say the least. I watched the Oscars live tonight from here in New York, and I think it was incredible that K-pop Demon Hunters had this historic double win. For example, specifically in the Best Original Song category, Golden was the first K-pop song to ever win. And that was something highlighted during the live broadcast as well. And given the anticipation all awards season, it feels like so many people have been just waiting for these wins. K-pop Demon Hunters arrived at the Oscars already as one of the most decorated animated films in recent memory. They already won awards at the Grammys, Golden Globes, Critics' Choice Awards, amongst many other accolades. So the fact that the film has been so heavily recognized, especially with a title that includes the term K-pop, I think that really signals that the Academy, in the case of the Oscars, has genuinely and finally expanded what it considers worthy of its highest honors. I mean, this is a Netflix animated film from a streaming platform, and it's like steeped in Korean culture and mythology, and it was able to beat out animated films from big studios, including Disney's billion-dollar Zootopia sequel. So I think that says something very powerful about where Korean popular culture is right now.
Yeah,
Powerful
I agree with you.
indeed.
Yes, and with Golden receiving yet another award, what do you think this result actually means for K-pop as a musical genre on the global stage?
Yeah, I think it means really only great things in the future. If anything, it's just emphasizing how K-pop is far more than just a music genre at this point. I've been repeatedly saying in my scholarship in recent years that K-pop is truly more of a phenomenon nowadays, rather than just a musical style. And apart from the historic award wins themselves, I think something else K-pop related that's really worth noting is that Golden is the song with the most credited writers, 7 altogether, to win Best Original Song, which is highly reflective of how collaborative modern K-pop songwriting is as a process behind the scenes. And when that group of writers took the stage, I was truly moved by the acceptance speech that EJ kicked off. Her framing of the award was so powerful, and she said something like, this is not about success, it's about resilience, which to me parallels K-pop's growth over the years in many ways, from a relatively humble space within Korea into the international space. Although I do want to note, there was a moment where Yoo-han, one of the co-writers of Golden, stepped up to speak after EJ, and he was so abruptly cut off. The orchestra and band started playing music to presumably kind of, accompany the winners off stage. And in some cases earlier on in the night, the music stopped to accommodate for longer speeches, but his microphone was muted, and then we cut to a commercial break. So for a song that, has a message about resilience and breaking barriers, I just found it kind of ironic that we would have one of the Korean co-writers silenced in that way. And I think that it deserves some pointing out. So.
But with this achievement, let's hope that we get to hear the voices more in coming up interviews because they are going to have this attention for a while now. But Claire, many say the achievement of Golden really demonstrates how K-pop style music can resonate strongly in the global film music market. And yeah, as a music expert, why do you think this song has connected so well with audiences around the world?
That's a great question, Soa. And when we think about other songs that have become genuine global phenomena, I'm thinking of, for example, Gangnam Style off the top of my head. They all share certain ingredients like, a strong melody or hook, a strong music production. And of course, in today's context, you'll also need to have the correct media and internet forces kind of behind the scenes helping things spread at the right moment. And Golden has had all of that. And what I think gives it an extra layer of star power is its lyrical themes that are truly quite universal. Like a lot of popular songs tend to lean on romantic love as an emotional core, and that's really powerful too. But Golden is about believing in yourself and pushing through despite the odds, and I would even argue that those themes can be more relatable since they can cut across age, culture, location, personal circumstances, and other factors. And as a songwriter and producer myself, I would also add that the song Golden itself is crafted with the kind of architecture that K-pop has at this point mastered. Golden has a linear structure that builds tension and releases emotion in just all of the right ways in a very precise manner, and it takes listeners on such a compelling journey. And the combination of that craft with the universal themes and lyrics is, I think, another reason why it has resonated so much.
Right, and Huntrix, the demon hunters of the film, or the singing voices behind them, EJ, Audrey, Nuna, and Ray Ami, performed the song Golden live on stage. What did you think of it? I mean, I saw everyone with the glow sticks as well. It was amazing.
Yeah, you're so right, Walter. I mean, I think having the light sticks in the audience, which are such a big part of K-pop fan culture, was a great move. But even stepping back a little bit, I'll be honest, I was so moved that I teared up a little. It was just so inspiring to see these three powerful women singing out to the world. And even the other singers and dancers who performed with them and also in the intro before they took the stage were absolutely phenomenal. So overall, what strikes me the most really is the journey that these women have been on. In the context of the film, EJ and Audrey Nuna and Rayami started, behind the scenes, just providing the singing voices, like you said, with EJ, of course, also contributing to some of the writing for the songs. And then from there, they gradually built their presence, like their first live performance together on Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show in October of last year was already a big milestone for them as a forward-facing trio. And then just months later, here they are at the Oscars. And I feel like that's just an incredible arc. It's very moving, and I think it carries extra weight knowing the challenges that the women faced in their musical journeys. Just now, I briefly mentioned EJ's acceptance speech, and something else that she brought up was this idea of, I think she said, growing up, everyone made fun of how she liked K-pop, but now everyone's singing along to the song, and they're also even singing Korean lyrics. So I think it's huge that she and the writing team and the production team have created the very song that put K-pop on the Oscar stage. And for every K-pop fan who has ever felt like an outsider in so-called mainstream music spaces, myself included, growing up, I would say that we were all represented on that stage too.
Wow, so many emotional touching moments, and now K-pop is mainstream. So congrats to everyone again involved in K-pop Demon Hunters. And now, Claire, let's talk a little bit about the big event that's coming up. BTS is returning with their fifth full-length album this week. So what are your expectations?
To be honest, so the anticipation for this album is unlike anything I've ever witnessed in K-pop in years, possibly ever at this scale, I think. BTS spent nearly 4 years apart, with each member growing individually through their solo work and, of course, also fulfilling their military service. And when artists go through that and then come back together, the music that results tends to carry a depth that pre-hiatus work doesn't really cover as much. So my expectation is an album that reflects these 7 people, the BTS members themselves, who have genuinely changed and grown over time, and them coming back together with something to say that they might not have been able to say before. And their fans and listeners of the world are so ready.
And so are we. Now, the album title, ARIRANG, is also quite striking. We did get to hear a little bit of the melody of the traditional Korean folk song earlier when Walter reported on the little teaser that they brought out. So how do you think BTS might incorporate or reinterpret this traditional Korean sentiment in their music?
Yeah, the thematic resonance, with this sentiment is going to be highly significant. If you listen to Arirang's lyrics carefully, at its emotional core, the song is really about separation and also the longing for a reunion. And I think that's pretty much exactly what BTS and their fans have lived with for the last few years. So BTS isn't just borrowing the term arirang randomly. They're intentionally engaging with its meaning. And considering that, I would say that my expectation is that the album would move between different parts of the emotional spectrum. Maybe some songs might explore melancholy and aching, but maybe also celebrations of joy. And in terms of music, thinking back to arirang and the traditional instruments associated with traditional Korean music, we might have some of those as well, or maybe even some retro influences from earlier decades of music woven into the contemporary BTS sound. And in the past, BTS and their team have really been great with this. They've shown us how skilled they are with honoring their cultural Korean roots while also speaking in a pretty universal musical language. A track that comes to mind, for example, is Idol, which was released in 2018. So I think the Arirang title of this album and the related themes will give the group a really solid comeback framework.
Right, and lastly, and just briefly, Claire, according to the already released track list, several global renowned producers participated in the album. The title track, Swim, is said to carry a message about navigating the waves of life. What kind of musical style or sounds are you expecting from this album exactly?
I'm so glad that you're asking me this, Walter, because when the roster of writers and producers was first released, I was just so excited by the possibilities of how this album could sound. And I think the list of people itself alone tells a fascinating story. You've got some really prominent producers like Mike Will Made It, bringing some hip hop influences. Flume is probably going to throw in some of his more signature organic electronic sound design elements. You've got Diplo as well, who's known for being really fluid in navigating different genres. And Ryan Tedder is one of the most emotionally intelligent pop songwriters, I would say, who's working today. And so many other collaborators beyond that. So when you look at this whole list, I think it's safe to expect some of these producers and writers' signature sounds and styles to show up. And I would anticipate a largely pop foundation that we know and love from BTS, but also having strong influences from these adjacent genres like hip hop and dance music and their various subgenres too. So I think it's wonderful that the BTS members also hold some songwriting credits on every track. We briefly talked about this just now too. And I think that suggests that they are very invested in the creative process themselves. For example, with Swim being teased as a song about moving through life's waves, and also with RM already participating in writing lyrics for that song, I think it will feel like a really good entry point, or re-entry point, I should say, for the group coming back to the industry. Something that's probably forward-looking and energetic, but maybe also carrying some emotional weight.
Right. I'm afraid that's all the time we have today, Claire. Thank you so much for your time and insights. We're probably going to talk more about BTS in the coming future. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
And thank
Thanks
you,
for
Walter.
having me.
Yeah, thank you, Walter. We're going to see you back on Wednesday.
See you very soon.